didn't have any idea about what we have to expect in Patagonia. It was the first time for David being down there climbing. It was the first time for me being down there filming. So both of us, we were really greenhorns, each of one in our department in a way. And well, we were pretty surprised as we realized what we were up to, what we were facing down there. And well, little by little we learned our lessons, and in the last year, in the third year, when David was able to free climb the compressor route, I mean, it was the best thing what could happen to a storyteller, to a filmmaker, that even in the end, when David is able to free climb his project, there were so many other events involved in the history of the mountain, like the chopping of the bolts, or our team had to approach the mountain from the other side. Well, it was like Christmas and Easter in one event for a filmmaker. We traveled to Cerro Torre to set up fixed ropes on bolts to film David by free climbing the compressor route. Well, it was not David climbing on bolts, it was us belaying us and climbing on fixed ropes to film him. But this doesn't make a difference for a hard-boiled alpinist. I mean, using bolts on Cerro Torre is maybe the dumbest thing you can do, because you have already 300 more bolts there. To add some 40 years after the event of Cesare Maestri's climb was not the smartest idea. If you shoot a mountain picture, climbing picture somewhere in the Alps, you use fixed ropes, you use bolts there, whatever, on Eiger, on Mont Blanc, on Grand Choras, on Dachstein, nobody really would give a damn about it. But if you do this on Cerro Torre, you have a big red alert in the climbing community. But well, we learned our lesson. Every day is a school day, as we now like to say, and we learned a lot. All the mistakes we did was actually the best thing that could happen to this project, because what else can happen in a movie if your hero falls completely on his belly after the first act? And it was really like that. I mean, we were completely wasted. We were the big goofing joke in the climbing community. I mean, there were cartoons in the internet. It was like throw the tents of these guys in the river and never come to Patagonia, and you guys are made for the climbing gym. Well, obviously, well, we gave them a good opportunity to have a great laugh about the Red Bull Climbing Cerro Torre Free project. But after all, we did our learnings, and that was really the greatest thing what could happen to this film, because on another stage, I ask myself as a filmmaker, I mean, is it still an adventure if you're filming the adventure? Is it still the same if somebody's climbing in a wall when there's a film team next to it? Well, as long as things run smooth, it might not be, but as soon as you're running in an emergency situation, you have a film crew next to you. And in an emergency situation, you would obviously use the fixed rope from the film crew if you really depend on it. Schrödinger's cat, as people in physics or natural science might call it. So I was really interested in follow this path, storytelling-wise, and I found out that it's such a rich narrative tool to not always try to make a story out of nothing. My biggest challenge was to make a really thrilling roller coaster riding story by smuggling a little bit the didactic things just underneath, so you're not losing the viewer by, I don't get the 8 climbing, I don't get the bolts, I don't get free climbing, but by being in this really emotional story with a lot of laughter and with some serious parts in it, you get a larger, the bigger view, without running in the situation. But I need to know now what means free climbing. I need to know what means 8 climbing. I mean, I hope in the end some people will leave the theater and they will have a feeling for free climbing.